I would have to say, starting with childhood. I'm the fourth child of a pretty big family, and I'm also a Gen Xer. So I was part of that latchkey kid life where both parents worked, and I sort of took care of myself. And with a big family, you have to fend for yourself. So that came with two positives that I think I took out of it. One is I need to advocate for myself and make sure that I have a voice. And make sure I get a piece of pizza at the dinner table because it goes quick. But the other, and this is where it relates to I think what I do professionally and where I get my passion is, I had a lot of alone time and I had to fill that and create my own stimulus, as it were. And so, I love art and drawing and music, not only playing but listening. I spend a lot of time just daydreaming and by myself, just imagining. And I think that's kind of one of the things that one of the strengths I can draw on in my career and in my everyday life is that I was sort of forced to do that as a young kid. And so being creative and figuring out how to solve problems on my own gave me a pretty rock solid foundation, I think. Same, as a kid, my grandfather was he's a master builder, cabinet maker, and a master craftsman of wood. And so every time we would go up to visit him, we would inevitably head down to his wood shop and start to make and create things. And it's probably been 20 years since I set foot in there, and I can still smell the sawdust, and I can still there's that feeling. It was visceral. And we would just, we would make things together from, things on his little jigsaw, or cut out like a shape out of a piece of wood, or even, later, as I grew up, more complex things like furniture. And so I think my real passion for design and architecture started in school. It's where I learned it's where I learned critical thinking skills and really became a designer. And to me, design is all about thinking in critical problem solving through iteration. So it starts with that social importance I was talking about. I fundamentally believe that this is why we practice architecture. It's not just to create space, it's to create something of social import. Yeah, so the process for me always starts with program and function. I'm a functional architect and designer. I think buildings are the result of a series of logical decisions that oftentimes lead you in unexpected areas, and so I start by trying to understand, or at least attempt to understand, the problem or the set of problems. And so before I sketch a single line or even draw anything on the paper, it's diving into the programmatic needs of the client. Collaboration is everything that we do. It's key to the success of a project. And I work on pretty big projects, so it certainly can't be done by a single person. And as architects, we actually like to think that we know a lot about the building, but there's no way we can be experts in everything. And it's just too immense and it's too complex. And so our role, or at least the way I see my role, is to be somewhat of an editor and a guide. I sort of guide the team, whether it's our own internal team of architects and designers and how we collaborate internally, or with our external collaborators, from other designers like landscape to our consultants of mechanical and plumbing and all that. We're it's not about making others sort of bend to our will that we're trying to fit in, but understanding how to maximize their respective disciplines to achieve a common goal. And Zimpler's awesome. He's the work of his office is sublime, is my best word for it. Some of my favorites are like the Bruder Kloss Chapel, or obviously the Term Val, which is still on my bucket list to go there and soak in those tubs. The singular thing that's the most striking to me about his work is the use of material and light, and how he creates this almost painterly chiaroscura that is in the context of these beautifully simple spaces. And you know, as your career progresses, you'll learn that something simple is the hardest thing to do. Again, it's something I'm recently sort of experiencing with a young family, is the work-life balance aspect of our profession. I love people that just sort of go for it and find whatever that it is for you, but find that thing that's your passion and put your all into it. Now is the time when you're young. I mean, you got to have passion when you're young. It's awesome.